Hey everyone, so I just bought 3 cords of firewood. The guy is delivering it in a Mason dump truck, which can't carry a ton, so he's been delivering it 1 cord at a time. So far I got 2 of the cords. The guy just dumps it right here. So I'm putting it up on pallets. The reason I decided to buy some cords of wood is because most of the stuff I have is from evergreens and it's pretty sappy. And I don't have anything that'll be ready for next winter. Yes, evergreen, pine trees, that kind of stuff, it cures extremely fast in only 6 months, a lot of cases, if it's split in rounds about a year. The thing is, the sap on the bark can take 2 years, sometimes 3 years to dry up, and it's not like I'm going to be going around peeling the bark off. So I have a couple cords of my own that I stacked and is dry to my satisfaction. We're going to be kind of mixing it for the next winter. I have a little bit more. That stack is going to be twice as high, and this right here, I found a ton of pallets for free on the side of the road. Unfortunately, while making trips back and forth to the house, someone beat me to it. I was going to bring home like 100. I was even going to build a pallet house for some camping video next winter, but unfortunately, I only got maybe 20 of them, and I'm going to stack firewood on them. I would have kept going back and grabbed like 100. That would have made a cool little pallet house, and it would have been kind of semi-permanent in my woods. But this stuff right here, yeah, this stuff here is extremely fresh. It was still wet when I was stacking it. The guy I ordered from, he cuts the tree down, and he cuts it to the size you want and splits it all in the exact same day. These trees were alive only a couple days ago. It's not a tree company, but as people order firewood off him, he cuts down his forest and he uses the land he digs up the land, and he's getting things out of it like gravel, minerals, that kind of stuff as he goes along. So this is like my junk area behind the house on the edge of the woods, just random things that I will eventually do things with. This is a dog crate right here. Maybe I'll find a use for it. These are for when we're expecting a ton of rain. I put them on the house to get it further away from the house, but I don't like mowing around them, so they're up for now. These tarps right here, some of these, the smoke damage is so bad. That's from a winter camp where the stove was running a bit smoky. But these will be reused to cover those wood piles. You want them to be out in the sun so they can start seasoning. But as soon as it starts getting chilly out in the fall, that's when you cover them up so snow doesn't get in there. I learned my lesson last year a bunch. And here's some other random junk. These are my snow tires I had to take off the vehicle. Roof rake. Bunch of milk crates I'll find a use for. Got those on the side of the road a little while back. It's always fun to poke a hole. Look at that. Oh, I have to poke another, don't I? There we go. All gone. These things are already so ripped. This is basically just so it doesn't get your car filthy when they give you your tires back, because I'm not going to pay them for the storage. I think that's dumb when I have a place to put them. Here's one little random Christmas tree I'm saving in the middle of the yard. Just decided not to mow it over, because when this place was an abandoned property, this whole area was little tiny trees, but I turned it back into yard. I kept a few random trees, hoping they'll provide shade in the future. This is a wood shed I built. What's that? Frog? No, grasshopper. So this is a wood shed that I built. I bought a kit on Amazon, just those brackets for the end. Just the end. I did everything with my own design. I built the roof. That wasn't part of its design at all. I did that so I don't have to tarp these ones come winter. It sheds all the water off them. You see it's up on bricks because the ground is all crooked and stuff. I also put those stabilizers on that are not to its design so it doesn't fall over. So the brackets from Amazon, I bought 3 sets of these brackets, but if I ever make any in the future, I don't think it's necessary. Just put a bunch of bolts through it with a nut. That'll do the trick just as well. I bought these, though, for their structural strength. Came with these stupid rubber things, which really didn't do much. They were kind of a pain in the butt in most cases, but it's good. I was amazed how much it actually took. Each one of these held probably a third of a cord, which is a good amount, I thought. I even put some up in the roof rafters of it. So I have 3 of these. I built them identical, just randomly placed them around the yard. Well, this is the only one in the yard. The rest, the other two of them are against the back of the house. So this is my garden right here. Today's the 23rd, by the way, of May 2023. I'll be starting this garden probably this weekend, if not next weekend, now that the weather's starting to get warmer and our growing season's about to start because we're about to hit June 1st. I am hoping to get that garden all started and planted, and I'll set up a sprinkler with a timer to water it every day when I'm not around. So this is all my wood here. Those logs right there in the garden, that's why I was showing it. I'm going to split those. Those have been dead a while. Those can be burned next season. The stuff you're seeing here, depending on how sappy it looks, a lot of this I want to let sit for 2 years. That's why I ordered some firewood that wasn't mine. Plus, when you're using evergreen, it has like half the BTU value. You are going to burn twice as much of it to sustain everything. The grass is starting to grow in right there. I planted a bunch of grass seed since I won't be using this burn site again. I actually put grass seed over the whole forest. Hopefully it'll turn nice and green. I don't know yet. Only the upcoming months will tell how that'll turn out. But I bought firewood because I know I won't have enough for this winter, and firewood by far is cheaper than ordering heating oil. Still cheaper with the prices right now. Plus it's very entertaining. You know, last year by burning wood, I probably used 10% of my normal fuel oil, which is basically diesel. It's just refined a little bit less. You can just call it diesel. Although if you use heating oil in a diesel truck or an engine, it supposedly will cause damage over time. But the other way around, I believe it's okay. I'm not 100% though. I know one time I was getting low in my oil tank, so I went to the gas station and I got like 20 gallons of diesel and just brought that home. I got the red diesel, but it wasn't fuel oil. It was actual off-road diesel, and that did okay. Yeah, so just a little update with heating with wood. We have enough wood in this forest, trees that are still laying on the ground that we got to cut up. Back there is like an entire season by itself, all that pine, if you can see it all stacked back there. That's one season all by itself. I estimate we got like 10 if I get it all cut up, but the thing is, it just won't be ready for next season. That's why I ordered a bunch to supplement, and I know I over-ordered too. I probably only needed 1 cord of that guy's to supplement mine, but it is much better wood, and it is better to mix it in, because I don't have any real hardwoods. I have a couple trees that aren't evergreen, but I'm not going to cut them down until they become sick. I love the forest here. I'm just cutting the dead stuff. I originally put the wood stove in to try to cut the heating bill because it was insane last year when heating oil got up. I do think it got over $6 here. Now it's back down to 3 something, which is more normal. Not sprouting yet, but I put some bulbs in here. I hollowed out the stump after my failed attempt of carving a chair with a chainsaw, but that was a few years ago. That chainsaw was garbage. My newer chainsaw probably would have been successful, but I just zipped it down and hollowed out a hole. Someone asked why I didn't put drain plugs. I could have easily zipped with the chainsaw blade and made some drain holes, but I actually got that out of a swampy area, so it'll probably like the extra water being saturated all the time. So yeah, even ordering it and supplementing half of the wood, yep, it's still cheaper as of now, and it's entertaining running a wood stove. Plus that wood stove, I bought that thing last year. I paid it was a total of $8,000 to have the thing installed. No, it was either $8,000 or $6,000, one of those two, but I do know that they had a gigantic tax rebate because wood burning is considered green energy and renewable. So the government, I believe, gave me back, was it 30%? I got a ton of that money back. And after getting that money back on my taxes and the fuel I won't have to buy with these elevated prices, I estimate it'll pay for itself in 2 to 3 years if I keep up with, like I did last year, 90% of usage was cut. But I still am going to use the furnace, obviously, when I'm not home. The wood stove will have to kick in when I'm not home to feed it, but it's a high efficiency wood stove. It can go 30 hours without putting any wood in. So if I'm gone a day or I go to work and come right back the same day, it's still going to be running, unlike a traditional stove that doesn't have a catalytic converter. It's actually called a catalyst, but it does the same thing. My stove actually smolders and it's burning the smoke. That's what makes the heat, not the actual fire all the time. It's a mixture of both. So yeah, that's what we did now. Supplementing half and half. Still cheaper, entertaining. But I know ordering 3 cords was a bit much, but you can never have too much firewood. It's not going to just go bad if it's stored properly. It can sit there for a while. Once it's sat one season being split, it depends what it is. If you're burning oak, supposedly that sometimes has to take multiple years because it only dries, I think, 1 inch deep per year. So you got to cut it pretty thin if you want to use it the same year. No piece can be more than 2 inches thick. Or let it season a couple years for the bigger ones that they call all-nighters that'll stay in there smoldering all night. Yeah, we don't get any oak around here. So firewood, once it seasons for a good year or so, it's good for a while. But once it starts to get super dry, like year 4 and 5, it'll still burn without a problem, but it's just so dry it's now no longer efficient. It burns too fast and you got to load it too fast. That's the problem people don't like about pine trees and evergreens. It burns a lot hotter. That's why it gets blamed for chimney fires. It burns hotter, so it's most likely to cause the fire. And like I said, the bark has a lot of sap. You got to let the sap dry up, which takes considerably longer. Despite the pines, evergreens, fir trees, and aspen, those trees, aspen doesn't count because it doesn't have sap. But those trees all cure very quickly, but not the bark. It takes a long time for some of that sap to dry up. Like some of these piles out here, I was thinking about bringing them back to the house and getting a few of them splitted. But the reason I didn't, because I knew immediately I was going to make a mess of my hands, my gloves, my equipment, my clothes, just covered in sap. Give it at least another year, and I'll start processing it once it has hardened and started drying up. Just wanted to give a quick update, everyone. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.